How's it going, guys? And here we are with Brenden from New House, and Sergey, and we are going to talk today about how to avoid $10, $15, $20,000 haircuts as a seller at the time of the subject removal, when that deal is ready to go firm, but the home inspection report showed up. 43, 50 pages. Yeah, let's talk about that.
I'm really interested to hear how potentially you could save that much money, and I'm sure a lot of stress maybe in the future, correct?
Certainly. You know what? The worst thing that can happen is when you are in the deal, when you have an accepted offer, the home inspector went through and they were paid $600, $700 to create this 43 to 50 page report, and they have to put some information into that report to the buyer who hired them. Not the seller, not the agent. We are not in any way have any kind of investment in it. But the buyer hired an inspector, and the inspector has to deliver the goods, which is a report about the property. And why does the inspector need to provide a very detailed report?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in this case, of course, the buyer is a client of the home inspector. They've hired the home inspector to look over the property, of course, to look for any deficiencies, areas of maintenance concern currently or maybe in the near future. So why would it be beneficial, important to you guys as sellers to potentially do a pre-listing inspection?
Yes, pre-listing home inspection. That's the key, guys. And often when we're at the listing presentation, when we're talking to sellers, what to anticipate, what to expect, and how emotional that roller coaster can be when you as a seller, you want to facilitate the sale, and then in the 11th hour, the buyer brings the report and says, sorry, we're either going to back out unless you're going to give us a consideration of some sort. And sometimes those considerations, like I said, $10, $15, $20,000, that is not something that you as a seller should be absorbing, and there are ways to avoid it. So Brenden, share with us, what kind of benefit the pre-listing home inspection has?
Yeah, absolutely. So if up front in our discussion and we're talking about pricing, listing strategy, looking over the home, of course, getting an evaluation from our perspective and your perspective to, establish a market value. But how great would it be to also bring in a professional as a home inspector that you hired working for you to look over your house and maybe look at these areas within the basement, crawl space, attic, foundation areas up front, just to give yourself as a homeowner and as a seller, that accurate information to know what to potentially expect in the future from a buyer doing this report later on. So knowing up front is going to do a lot of stuff, give us a better understanding of your home and its value potentially if there's items coming up, as well time on our side at that point, right? Maybe you have contractors or people that we can address and take care of these items up front so that we know they're off the table and well taken care of when we're live on the market.
Exactly. And in those 43 to 50 pages, the inspector is going to thoroughly go through, take photos of everything, roof, exterior envelope elements, interior stuff, attic space. And what a great opportunity before you hit the market to actually address some of those things. Like for instance, maybe there's a cracked boot on the vent pipe on the roof, and then there's some nails that hasn't been blackjacked, like with the black caulking style, if you don't know what the blackjack is. But all of those little small things that will be flashed out on the pre-listing home inspection, that is an opportunity for us now to get that handyman that Brendan's talking about to address some of those things. Now, what does that show potentially to the buyer when they see a pre-listing home inspection? We can disclose that and actually leave the pre-listing home inspection on the table so all the buyers who are going through, they can see that we as the sellers and as the listing agents, we have nothing to hide, that maybe there's been some points of concern and now we address them because you also have some receipts from the work that was done. But that is the benefit of pre-listing home inspection.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great to just instill that, additional confidence in buyers and people through your home to have that information, especially if, they're maybe making decision between a few properties, and to have that clarity and potentially comfort that there's been a recent inspection done shows that you've been proactive to get that work and keep the house kind of tip top. So what a wonderful way to differentiate your listing from other listings out there.
Yeah, and how much does report usually cost? Well, on the single family dwelling, that's approximately anywhere between 2,000 to 3,500 square feet. That's, what is it?
Yeah, maybe 600, maybe 700 if there's some outbuildings and other things like that.
Now, would you say it's an expense or is it an investment?
I would look at that as an investment. I know that is a substantial amount of money, but as an investment, and we have seen in the past a lot higher numbers than that at the kind of that 11th hour when people come in potentially trying to negotiate the final stages. So it's a great investment for sure as a seller.
Yeah, and so would you line up to the bank to let's say an ATM machine where you put a $600 in and it spits out $10,000, $15,000 to you? All day long we would be doing that. Yeah. So why not be looking at that way, that it's an investment, that it can return thousands of dollars to you? And the thing is that we don't really have any control. Like, even when we are working with the buyers and we recommend maybe a list of home inspectors in the area. By the way, we as agents, no agent's supposed to be recommending any inspectors. We don't get anything back, or we don't get any benefits of any sorts. We are just wanting to make sure that we have a very strong home inspector who goes through for our buyers when we're working for the buyer, so we can flesh out all of the things. And the biggest reason why is because we are in the business of long-lasting a relationship. Imagine this: if Brenden is going to hire his friend for an inspector, and all of a sudden everything checks out, but the homeowner moves in, and then some of the things start to come up to the surface, who's going to be on the hook if we recommend it? It's going to be us. Well, we don't want to do that. That's why we're very neutral, and we only recommend people who are strong, and reports are made to the buyers. We don't even see it as as a buyer's agent, those reports first. It always goes to the buyer, and only if the buyer allows and gives permission to the home inspector to share that report with us, or the buyers now shared the report with us, only then we can help them, our buyers, to navigate through the home inspection report, make some recommendations, where we're gonna, maybe raise some points of concerns, and maybe where we need to get second opinion, and etc. But yes, as an inspector, you have to fill out those 43, 50 pages of information. You have to make notes. You have to point some certain points of concern, and that becomes a sticky point in the 11th hour. And in the 11th hour, what's present in the 11th hour when you have humans on both sides of transaction?
Yeah. Emotions are high, emotionally charged. It's maybe been a longer process, just being on the market through showings, the negotiation price process. You've been in that accepted offer pending phase for maybe almost close to 2 weeks, kind of nervously waiting, is this my home going to sell or not, and what's going to be the outcome. So pre-listing inspections as a seller, as a homeowner, great investment for one to understand your property and all the details, avoid any future hiccups or negotiations, and maybe speed up the sale process with having that information that's crucial for a buyer to maybe make a decision and move forward and putting a great offer and purchasing your home.
So at the end of the day, great points, Brenden. And at the end of the day, you have to, as a seller, figure out if you're going to be proactive or reactive to the environment that you are in. And being proactive is always, always the way. So therefore, let's get those pre-listing home inspections. When you go on the market, we figure out all of the details. We'll address all of the small concerns. Maybe there's some cracks that we need to fix in the foundation, or maybe it's cracks in the concrete, or maybe there's some blackjack missing on some screws on your roof. Maybe some boots need to be replaced. Those are all very small, easy to address elements of improving the future communication in the 11th hour at the time of the final subject removal. So as a seller, you're not finding yourself, like Brenden said, emotionally charged, Parties get upset.
Yeah.
They see as a seller doesn't want to move, buyer has concerns. There's some seeds planted in their mind, and they trying to figure out who's going to now make a consideration. To avoid that, pre-listing home inspection is the name of the game. So hopefully this information was good. Hopefully you're on board with us if you're going to be a seller in the future. And any last closing words?
No, I think it's a great topic, always relevant, good reminder. It doesn't have to be a busy market. It's important anytime, any market. And yeah, I hope you see the value in that investment in your home sale.
100%. But next, what are we going to do? We're going to get off this video and we're going to start figuring out the way how we're going to help our seller avoid a haircut, because right now, one of the inspection reports came back and we are being asked for 2 additional weeks of the extension. You see what's going on? Now, after 2 weeks in the home in the due diligence process and that subject removal, now the buyer is asking for additional 2 weeks to figure out the way how we can move forward. All of that, not ideal.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that great tip, and look forward to talking to you guys soon.
Peace.